One of these men is the first American to climb to the top of Mount Everest. What is your name, please?
My name is James Whittaker.
My name is James Whittaker. My name is James Whittaker.
Only one of these men is the real James Whittaker. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Dina Merrill, Milt Kamen, and Kitty Carlisle. On to Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collier.
Thank you. And welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Brought to you this week by Dristan Decongestant Tablets for relief of hay fever distress. Dristan to help protect you from pollen irritation. Dristan. Hey, good evening, panel.
Good evening, Bob.
Hiya, Bud.
It's a joy to welcome you back. You've been away much too long.
Well, it's such fun to be back again.
Now, stop avoiding us like that. And Milt, I'd like to welcome you to our nighttime show.
Pleasure.
It's a real pleasure to have you here. And I understand you're starring now in the Typists and the Tiger, isn't it?
Typist and the Tiger, yes.
And that's at the Orpheum Theater, isn't it?
Orpheum Theater, 2nd Avenue, 8th Street. Very lovely place.
Having fun with it?
Yes, I am.
Good. Okay, well, you'll have fun tonight, too, I'm sure. Please open your first envelope, if you will. Take out your affidavit cards for the first time and follow along as I read from my copy. I, James Whittaker, have been climbing mountains since I was 16 years old. Most of my climbing has been done on the continent of North America. My greatest triumph, however, came over 12,000 miles from home. On May 1st, 1963, I climbed to the summit of Mount Everest, the highest mountain peak on Earth. By so doing, I became the first man in history to plant the American flag on the roof of the world. Signed, James Whittaker. Panel, these three gentlemen all claim, as you heard, and so did I, to be James Whittaker, mountain climber, most extraordinary, I think you might say. Let's start this questioning with Tom Poston. Tom?
Oh, thank you, Bud. I would like to ask number 3 if there was a recent magazine article about you in the Saturday Evening Post.
Yes, there was.
Well, I saw that, and none of you look like that fellow. Is that your picture, number 2, in the article?
No, they made a mistake. That was my twin brother's picture.
Well, number 1, do you and your twin brother look alike?
I beg your pardon?
Well, let me put it this way, number 1. Is your brother still with us?
With us?
Is he alive?
Yes, he is.
Well, I read something in the article about an accident having happened to him. Is that true?
No, an accident happened to one of the members.
Dina.
I'm fascinated, Bud. Number 1, did your twin go on the climbing expedition with you?
No.
I see. All right, we'll forget that. Number 2, how high do you have to be before you need oxygen?
23,000 is about when we begin to use it.
Number 3, what is the name of the mountain near Everest that begins with a D?
D, doing a chow.
Number 2?
Done a job.
Number 1?
Sounds good.
Guess I read the wrong book. Number 1, who wrote Annapurna?
Herzog.
Number 2, have you ever met Mr. Herzog?
Yes.
Did you talk to him about this expedition?
Milt Kamen.
Oh, thank you, Bud. How are you? Number 1, what is the highest mountain in America?
In America is now McKinley in Alaska.
Now? Oh, I see. So it grew. Wait a second. Number 2, what is the temperature at the top of Mount Everest?
At what time of day?
At about 10 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it'll probably range around 0 at that time of day.
Is that right? Number 3, what is the name of the hammer that you use on the climbing?
The ice pick?
that what you call it?
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 1, what is a piton?
A metal wedge that is used in climbing.
Thank you. Number 2, what is the name of the New Zealander who got to Mount Everest? To the top. Number 3?
Sir Edmund Hunt, Sir John Hunt.
Thank you. Number 1, was the Sherpa who went with you any relation to the man who got there ahead of you?
Yes.
Number 1, he was.
Yes.
Number 2, did any member of your expedition lose any fingers through frostbite?
Toes.
Toes. Number 3, who was it who lost the toes?
Mr. Franson lost some toes.
Thank you. Number 1, how many base camps did you have?
1 base camp.
I mean, but on the way up.
That's all the time we have. So make camp and go for the summit as you mark your ballots immediately, panel. At once, without change, and of course, no consultation while voting for number 1, number 2, or number 3. The team of challengers will receive $250, of course, for each and every incorrect vote. All ballots marked?
Oh, dear.
Mark, 2 are marked.
Yeah, I'm all
Dina, have
set.
you marked?
I'm marked.
All right.
Go for broke. All right, let's find out how we voted. Tom, for whom did you vote?
Well, I voted for number 1, and it's really hard on me because he's quite blonde, and what there is, and the fellow that I saw in that picture had a full head of dark hair, it looked like to me, and he was much heavier. But I remembered reading that when this fellow was up there, he said, I've got to do it in a hurry because I'm nothing but a bag of bones inside of a pair of boots, so maybe he's lost weight and hasn't gotten it all back yet. But he looks like a rugged fellow to me, so I voted for number 1.
Dina, what is your choice?
Well, I was wavering between 1 and 2, Bud, but I settled on 2. None of them seem to know my mountain called Dalagiri, which I read about in Annapurna. Perhaps this other one was another name for it. Is that correct?
Don't ask questions.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, number 2.
Milt.
I have a strong feeling that it's number 3, but I chose number 1. Almost for the same reason, Tom. He's a slim fella. I think you climb a mountain, you get very skinny by the time you reach the top. You don't like skinny fella.
All right, Kitty.
I voted for number 1. Number 3 said it was Sir Edmund Hunt who climbed to Mount Everest. I think it was Edmund Hillary, and he was very tall, and number 1 is very tall, and he looks also very rugged. And he also told me that his Sherpa was a relation to the Sherpa who climbed Mount Everest before, and I think it was his son.
Very well, there we have it. Now, good sound reasoning went into this one, and they're a little concerned about it, as you can see. The vote is reasonably well split, 3 for 1, 1 for 2. Let's go for it now and see who's right and who's wrong, as we learn which of these gentlemen actually did succeed in climbing Mount Everest and plant the American flag there for the first time. So will the real James Whittaker please stand up?
Oh, yeah. The
applause is merited in more ways than one, as a matter of fact, because Jim Whittaker last week was awarded the National Geographic Society's Hubbard Medal by President Kennedy. Congratulations, please. Well, you had good stalwart help here, although the panel, I don't know, sometimes they guess, and they guess better than when they really put thought to it. They did very well anyway tonight. Number 2, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Bob Eaton. I'm vice president of the Charles A. Eaton Company. We manufacture the tonic all-weather golf shoes.
And number 3, what is your real name, sir, and what do you do?
My name is Stephen Harvey. I'm a special agent with Provident Mutual Life Insurance Company in Westfield, New Jersey.
Well, gentlemen, checking the score, we find there was only one incorrect vote, but even that from Tristan is $250, and I hope that you had as much fun as the pleasure that we had just having you on the show. Also, on your way out, you'll receive a gift package of all the fine products from the makers of Tristan. Thank you, gentlemen. Good night, and God bless you. I present our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Marcela Nelson.
My name is Marcela Nelson. My name is Marcela Nelson.
Panel, will you follow along with your copies of this affidavit as I read? I, Marcela Nelson, am known as the Ladybug Lady. I sell ladybugs at $7.50 per gallon to gardeners, farmers, and fruit and cotton growers in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. Ladybugs feed on such harmful insects as aphids, mites, mealybugs, and small bollworms. Although ladybugs are my main item, I also sell praying mantises at $1 per egg case and earthworms at $5.50 a thousand. Last year alone, I shipped more than 1,250,000,000 ladybugs. Signed, Marcela Nelson. Well, panel, these three ladies all claim to be Marcela Nelson with the cute title of Ladybug Lady. Let's start the cross-examination for no reason with Milt Kamen. Milt?
All right. Number one, what do you call a male ladybug?
A male ladybug? Just a ladybug.
A male ladybug is a ladybug? Yeah. All right, for you. All right. Number two, where do you raise these ladybugs?
I raised mine in Colorado.
All right. Number three, what is an aphid?
It's a pest, an insect.
All right. But that's all you can say. What does it look like?
It's a little tiny gray thing.
Oh, it is. What is it? Oh.
Kitty.
Number one, what is a bollworm? Is it like a boll weevil?
No, it's a worm.
Oh, it's a worm.
And a weevil is something that
Thank you.
bores him.
Uh-huh. Number two, do you mind when your friends tease you about being an insect lady or a worm lady? You don't mind?
Not a bit.
Number three, what is an arachnid?
Oh, I don't know that.
Number one, do you know what an arachnid is?
I can't think.
I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Why are praying mantises' egg cases so expensive, number one?
Because they actually contain several eggs in them, several hundred eggs.
Tom.
A friend of mine, Leslie Omer, said, Milt reminded me of this. A little kid had a ladybug. He says, ladybug, ladybug, fly away home. Your house is... Oh, excuse me, sir. I guess they would probably object. I would. You know, but I'm just afraid I'm going to have to disqualify myself. I may be making a complete fool of myself because the hair is different, and I'm not sure I know this person. But I better disqualify myself just to be on the safe side, okay? I think I recognize one of the contestants.
Oh.
No, it's you I recognize.
Oh, all right. Look again. Dina.
Number two, would you describe an aphid, please?
An aphid is, as she said, is sort of a little unattractive insect.
What color is it?
It's usually black. They're very small.
I see. Number one, what do the earthworms do that you sell? What's the purpose of selling earthworms?
They are to enrich the soil, actually.
How do you mean? How do they do that?
They convert soil into fertilizer,
And that's it. So with all of the splendid knowledge you have achieved...
I think it's all of them.
Mark your ballots. Be you male or female ladybug, mark your ballots. And mark them without change, of course, and without consultation as you vote now for number one, or number two, or number three. All ballots marked?
Yes.
Very well. Since Tom has disqualified himself, that will go as an incorrect vote in the final scoring. And we'll start reckoning here with Dina. Dina, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number one, Bud. I always knew my gardening would come in handy someday. Aphids are green things that go on roses, to my mind. Little teeny green sort of creatures. And earthworms do fertilize the earth and aerate the earth. So I voted for number one.
Milt.
Yeah. What happened? Oh, it's all right. You may be right.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
I voted for number 1, and for no good reason. Now, I think it's number 1 because she did know about the worms fertilizing the earth, because that's what they do. Billions of worms fertilize the earth all over the world, except in New Jersey, however.
Kitty.
Well, as you can see, I started to go for number 1, but I changed to number 2. Because I think that the function of earthworms is to aerate the soil more than, I don't know. Anyway, I thought that aphids were those black beetles you see on bushes.
Oh, no, those are
Mexican jumping beetles.
So let's come right to it now and face up to what's right and wrong here as we learn which of these 3 ladies actually is known as the Ladybug Lady. So will the real Marcela Nelson please stand up?
Number 2.
If it's number 3, I'll see.
We got it. She looks like a ladybug. She looks like a duck. Number 2 looks like a duck.
Well done.
He's wrong about 8.
Oh, my. Let's see now. Number 2, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My real name is Tukey Coffin, and I make beach hats called Lids by Tukey.
And number 3, what is your real name and what do you do?
My real name is Ora Whitty. I'm a voice teacher in New York City.
Well, ladies, in checking the score, thanks to Tom, which one did you think you knew?
Oh, thank God, I knew Miss Whitty. I'm so glad. Her hair's fixed slightly differently, and at first I couldn't recognize her for sure. I thought I'd better not take a chance.
You see, that's the trouble today.
Well,
only her
actually-
hairdresser knows for sure. But in any event, that disqualification adds 1 more incorrect vote, and that's important to you. That'll bring smiles to your faces. That makes a total of 2 incorrect votes at $250 each. $500 coming your way from Dristan, as well as a gift package of all the fine products from the makers of Dristan. Thank you, ladies, and hope you had as much fun as we think you did. Good night, and God bless you. All right, let's meet our 3rd team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Johnny Spotz.
My name is Johnny Spotz.
My name is Johnny Spotz.
Panel, will you follow along with your copies of this affidavit? I, Johnny Spotz, play a rather unusual form of golf. I use only 1 club. In my last tournament, I played against experts from 34 states. During 3 days of play on a special course, I shot 100 holes in 1. Despite the fact that I ended up 86 under par, I won the tournament by just 1 stroke and walked off with the first prize of $10,000. I am the Professional Putting Association champion for 1963. Signed, Johnny Spotz. Panel, all 3 gentlemen claim the same identity. By name, Johnny Spotz. By occupation, I guess you could say, professional putting champion. So let's start with our panelist who knows the most about the subject of golf and putting, Kitty Carlisle.
I was afraid of that. Number 2. Number 2. Number 2.
Yes.
I couldn't tell if you were looking at me. Well, where do you start from? Do you drop your ball anywhere and start to putt?
There is a tee mat.
A what?
Play from a tee mat.
But, I mean, who decides how far it is from the hole?
It's set in the ground, in the concrete.
And somebody decides?
It's immovable.
And number 3, is it always in the same place?
The ball?
Yeah,
Well, when you tee off, it is, yes.
it is. Number 1, why do they change the names of all the clubs from Mashies and Niblicks and to numbers?
I only know about putting.
You don't know about any other of the clubs? Don't you play ever anything but putting? Is that frustrating?
Tom Poston.
Thank you, Bud. Number 2, do you play regular golf?
No, I don't.
Number 3?
Occasionally.
Is that so? Well, I mean, it's unusual. I would think that the guy that putted like that would play so. Number 2, happens that I know about that contest. Woody Loper was one of the contestants in that contest. Do you know where he placed?
No, I don't.
Do you know number 3?
Never heard of him.
Heard of him.
Uh-huh.
Number...
You're at it again.
I was doing Woody Allen.
Number one, what different types of putters are there?
There are about 3 that I know of and have used.
What are the names of those? Number 2,
Dina.
Thank you.
Well, I'll continue along that line. Number one, what are the different kinds of putters?
The offset, the rocker, and the open blade.
Well, guess I'd better learn some more about golf. Number 2, when you putt, does your power in your stroke, what little power there is, does it come from your left or your right hand?
My right hand.
You guide with your right hand, huh?
That's right.
Number 3, how many clubs are allowed in a tournament in a golf bag? Do you know?
How many clubs?
Yes.
Just that one putter.
Well, no, I mean in a regular golf tournament. You said you played golf as well as just putt. How many clubs are allowed in a bag in a tournament?
Roughly around 14. As I said before, it's not my main interest, so I don't really pay attention.
Milt Kamen.
On number 3, what's a masher? When is that used?
That's used in regular golf, but not in putt.
Oh, but you don't know when it's used. For what purpose?
A masher?
Yes.
No, because I don't play a good game of golf.
Okay. Well, I didn't know the answer either. It's all right.
The masher, yeah.
I thought a masher was something else altogether.
That's when you...
Oh, masher.
That's for that night golf.
Yeah, night golf.
Number 2, where was this contest held?
In Cleveland, Ohio.
Number 1, is that right?
Correct.
And that's all the time we have. So put your marks on your ballots, if you will, please, at once. And no consultation permitted while voting now for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All ballots marked? All right, Tom, for whom did you vote?
I think I've just made a mistake. I voted for number 1. I think I just blew the whole thing. I voted for number 1 because he has a smile on his face like he'd recently won $10,000. But I think I just blew that whole thing. Number 1, not number 3.
Dina.
Well, I voted for number 3. Because out of the trio, he looks like a golfer to me, and I just can't conceive of only putting and not playing golf. I just don't understand it. So I voted for number 3.
What is your choice?
He's a nice-looking fella, number 3. I didn't vote for him. I think it's number 1, but I didn't vote for him either. I like him. But I think number 2 looks to me like a driving, ambitious young fella, and I think it was him. How are you?
Well, you have your pick. Which one are you lining up with, Kitty?
I'm with Milt. I think number 2 has a kind of gimlet eye that is unerring and furiously correct, and I voted for number 2.
All right, that's as widely spread as it's been tonight. Let's see how it works out in the truth area by learning now which one of these gentlemen actually recently won $10,000 by winning the professional putting championship. So will the real Johnny Spotz please stand up?
For the same reason. Thank you, Johnny.
Just for the record, you do not play golf at all?
That's right.
Just putt, and that's all?
I just putt.
Well, man, you've made it a paying proposition, I must say,
how did
concentrating
you
on
ever
one
get
area.
to
Number
just
1, what
putt?
is your real name, sir, and what do you really do? You were very knowledgeable.
My name is Roy Battersby, I'm Vice President, Hill and Knowlton Public Relations Council.
Thank you, sir. Number 3, you got one of the votes. What is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Pat Romano. I'm an advertising representative for Family Circle magazine here in New York.
Well, you did well, gentlemen. A 50% victory over this panel is a real good one. There were 2 incorrect votes. So from Tristan comes $500 your way. That should make you happy and gladden anyone's heart. Also, I hope you had as good a time as we did. And on your way out, you will receive a gift package of all the fine products in the makers of Tristan. Thank you, gentlemen. Good night, and God bless you. That Tom won't be with us next week. He's be on his way to Hollywood to make a movie. Good luck, Tom.
Thank
Hurry
you,
back.
Bob.
Good luck.
And sitting in with our Kitty will be Betty White, Barry Nelson, and Robert Q. Lewis. That's all the time we have. Good night, man. Bless you.
Good night, Bud.
Good night to all of you. Bud Collyer saying that for Tristan and reminding you, if I may, to tell the truth. Good night, everybody.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Truth has been brought to you tonight by Dristan decongestant tablets. For relief of colds, misery, sinus congestion, Dristan. This is Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth, this program was pre-recorded.